Here we go. Yeah, yeah. You know I go around town doing as long as I can. Cause you know I like the pity that you give your loving man. I want your attention, baby. Bestow it like you do. Oh, yeah. I need your sympathy and feel sorry for me. Play something, baby boy, come on now. All right now. I've been sneaking round late night. I broke into the library. I took out all the books I could on girl psychology. I'm just a bad boy, baby, and I guess I'll never learn. Yeah, cause I need your sympathy after I crash and burn. Cause I need your sympathy. Oh, after I crash and burn. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Gary from learntoplaymusic.com. Welcome to the music space. This is the end of our first season, so we're going to celebrate the first season, which has been great fun, and two of the probably the most popular guests that I've had, Mr. Andy Seymour
Please.
and Mr. Dave Innocente. So we're going to talk about some jamming and pretty much music in general, and have as much fun as we can. So let's talk about stuff like the benefits of jamming.
Cool. Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, benefits of jamming. Well, you learn a lot from listening to other people play.
That's right. That's right.
It's more what you hear
Even
than
if you
what
don't
you do,
like
to
it.
be honest.
That's right. If you don't like it, you've learned something. That's what I don't want to do or don't want to play like. Hopefully we haven't demonstrated that.
I think if you're in a gig or in a formatted situation, everybody plays their part, and that's very important because you're performing. But when you're just sitting around on a Saturday afternoon and you're having a jam, and suddenly you're not afraid to experiment, and you discover, here I am talking about playing guitar. I don't even play guitar, but regardless of your instrument, you're not afraid to take chances.
No, you're right. You're more likely to go for things you wouldn't on a gig.
Right.
So that's where you learn what to play, what not to play. That
Absolutely.
works, this doesn't work, that sort of thing. Yeah,
that's
that
where you
helps a lot.
learn. The best place to learn how to speak, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's by speaking, but not in a sort of speech situation, if you know what I mean. So when's a good time to start playing with others, do you reckon? What is there an age, a perfect age to be
really.
playing?
As soon as you start to learn to interact with people, you learn how to
I agree.
get your levels, play loud, soft, interact, keep quiet, play when you should, play when you shouldn't. That's as young as possible.
Yeah,
I agree
As
too.
soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Even if you only know two chords, play the two chords.
Well, if the
That's
guy
what
you're
Dave
playing
knows,
with, that's right. I'm working on
it's the right two chords though. You got to learn the right two.
Well, the person you're playing with might know more the third chord.
Yeah,
and then that's when you learn. So
that's when you sack them.
Yeah, and you move in. Yeah.
No, I agree with you absolutely as soon as possible. Just get in there. Just start jamming.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah, learn all the technique you can and learn all the theory you can, because theory is a big help when you're jamming. That's for sure. So nerves is a big thing for a lot of people, especially when they're on camera and when the gig started, or even when the jam has started. When other people are listening to them, they tend to sort of tense up a bit.
Tense up, shake.
Any tips for overcoming that?
Besides drinking a lot? No. Just doing it over and over. The more you do it, the more it becomes comfortable, and you just over and over do it as much as you can. Throw yourself in the deep end. You'll get better. You'll get less nervous.
Yeah.
prepare too.
Experience,
Preparation. If you're ready for the gig, you won't be so nervous. I think.
That's what I was just about to say. You know, if you're nervous, it's because you're perhaps inexperienced. Although some of the most experienced performers still get dreadfully nervous before they go on stage.
Yeah.
But with confidence comes, you know, confidence overrides the nervousness because you're together within yourself. So I think it's just about getting with other musos, jamming with them, rehearsing, and just doing it over and over. And repetition, like you just said, becomes... You feel good about what you're going to do, regardless of your instrument, whether you're a singer, bass player, horn player at the back, whatever it is, horn player at the front.
I remember hearing a
Piano, bass.
Not playing with that piano player and
trombone.
But whatever it is, the more you've had time to play and rehearse and get it together, the less nervous you are.
Well, usually nerves are at the very beginning of the gig or whatever. And I remember a tip from on Holdsworth, believe it or not, saying start with something easy that you really know well that you're not going to screw up, and that will
sink into.
You'll sink into it. You'll get into it. If you start with something difficult, you're more likely to make a mistake, and you'll actually get even more nervous. So if you play something you're comfortable with, it's a good starting tune.
So don't open with an Al Di Meola tune now.
No, in 9/14 or some weird times. Just start with something that's
maybe
strong and everyone knows and you're comfortable. Or Spain.
On a ukulele, so you're really sort of
playing left-handed.
So I think really too, just focusing on the music, not worrying about who's listening, who's there. It's really about, you know, being very much attached to the music should help you get through if it is a problem. So do you think these sorts of things should be structured? You know, when you have a jam session, do you think, you know, there should be structure, or should it be very much free reign and as open and as...
that depends on who you're playing with, I think,
depending on
what
style
they know.
Of music as well.
I mean, yes and no. Sometimes structure helps in terms of if you don't know a style of music that I do and when I want to play it, it becomes that, well, you have to structure it some way. We both have to know what we're playing, I guess, but I'm not sure I know what you're getting at in terms of structure, though.
I'm just reading off the board.
Well,
but you know, should it be? I think a volume thing should be important. You should all be able to hear each other. You should all be on the same.
The learning process.
On the same level.
As soon as you can.
There are a lot of musicians that only hear themselves, for instance.
Yeah,
and you're constantly fighting with volume.
Yep.
So I think being aware of being sensitive to the other musicians. That's a big part of of the jamming thing, isn't it? Which
it's where you learn
transcends into the live stuff and even in the studio and whatever.
Absolutely.
Enormous.
So certain types of structure, and you know, as you said, it also depends on what style of music you're playing. I mean, some styles of music really do need a lot of structure, don't they? And others, perhaps a bit of jazz fusion, blowing on two chords.
Well, I wrote a lot of getting a feel for what he was capable of or what I wanted from him, etc. A lot of stuff gets written that way. Just playing with someone and feeling a groove that they've done that triggers ideas in your head. So that is almost unstructured that turns into a structure. It turns into something. So jamming's great that way.
So what would you do if you're in a situation where perhaps one of the members of the jam is perhaps not quite up to scratch with the others? Is there do you just get rid of them?
You've got to be tactful about it, but it can upset the whole feel of it, and you have to kind of get that right. Otherwise, it's not a lot of fun. And generally, most people feel it. That's if one guy is not quite there.
It can be a very uncomfortable situation.
But it gets more uncomfortable if nothing's done about it. So
right.
I think you have to kind of either help them with what you think is not right.
Or do that.
Yeah, look, you do have to be tactful about it, but you can't just let it go.
Well, this is probably a good opportunity for me to...
But are we talking about a jam situation? We're not talking about a gig, are we? We're talking about...
both.
Well, both.
Okay.
Jamming as well, because otherwise it is just a waste of time. You might as well get it right and make sure that people...
Harsh, man. Harsh.
I've got no time to waste.
Well, I'm thinking in a jam situation, hey, look, we were all beginners once, and, you know, that guy who may not be up to the standard of you guys might be thrilled to bits to be playing, and he's struggling, but he's in the corner going, I can't believe I'm playing with these great guys. And that's where I think you kind of give him a bit of leeway, give him a bit of rope, and let him, you know.
You do.
Doesn't matter.
But I've been on the position where I've been the one not doing the right thing. I would rather someone said, Dave, can you do this, do
By
that?
all means.
I'd rather have that instruction, say, oh, I didn't realise I was doing that.
Yeah.
Or I was playing too loud, or I'm out of tune, or my hair's too long, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Or sip on this glass of Shut the Hell Up.
Yes.
While we actually play the song, because anyway.
I would rather get that, and you are going to experience that if you do gigs. I've had MDs who've done that with me. Pulled me aside, said, can you do this, do that? I want to hear this. It's like, fine.
It can be sometimes the best lesson you'll ever have. I remember being yelled at by a very fine drummer from America many years ago when I was a whippersnapper and thought I was going to set the world on fire with my bass playing. And this man put me in my spot very, very quickly at a gig, and literally told me to shut up, play the bass, play the chord changes, and I spent the rest of the gig terrified, and I packed up and got out of there as quickly as I could at the end. But I'll never forget it, and it was a really big lesson. You know, I needed somebody to tell me, you know, that's enough.
It's a
Listen
shame
to the band.
It's a shame you've never heeded that advice.
It changed, but you know.
Still,
you know what?
He's not on your Christmas card list, though, is he?
If you're watching, he might be. Should we play another song?
Sure.
Great.
Or we're too scared now.
Let's do
listening.
something slow. Let's do something. What do we got?
Me and Mrs. Jones?
Yeah.
Why
Cool.
did you choose this one, Andy?
Well, I think this is one of the coolest songs ever written, and it's interesting that it pops up about every sort of 10 years. Somebody will release it, you know, back onto the charts, and it always charts somewhere. I'm not necessarily saying it goes number one, but there'll be some little slightly obscure singer, or having said that, I mean, Michael Bublé released it a few years ago, so there you go, and had it, you know, made it pretty popular. But it's not quite jazz. It's jazz blended with soul, and it's soul blended with jazz. And I just think it's one of the coolest songs ever written, and I totally love it. And
let's do it.
Let's do it. Me and Mrs. Jones, we've got a thing going on. We both know that it's wrong, but it's much too strong to let it go now. We meet every day at the same cafe, 6:30. I know she'll be there, holding hands and making all kinds of plans, while the jukebox plays our favorite songs. Me and Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, we got a thing going on. We both know that it's wrong. Oh, but it's much too strong to let it go now. Yeah. Well, it's time for us to believe it. Hurts so much, you know, it hurts so much inside. Now she'll go her way, and I'm gonna go mine. And tomorrow we're gonna meet at the same place at the same time. Me and Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, yeah. We gotta be extra careful that we don't build our hopes up. She's got her own obligations, and I've got mine. Me and Mrs. Jones, me and Mrs. Jones, oh, yeah.
Shall we?
We are.
We had to resolve. Just because you got to. That was cool. I'm going to take a little chance here now to promote LTP's new online community. It's free to join and gives you website-wide discounts, music education news, and tips and tricks. To celebrate this week, you can download any of their 12 top-selling ebooks, for free if you become a member. learntoplaymusic.com/join. So great promo, 12 top-selling ebooks, free to download.
Yeah.
So fantastic. That's to celebrate our first show of the music space. And we're also coming back on October the 15th, which is in about 6 weeks' time. We're going to have these boys back on and a whole bunch more new guests. It's going to be great fun.
You guys have got some great guests coming on.
I know, it's going to be
fantastic. It's
looking
fantastic.
forward to it. So remember that one. Check it all out on the website too, if you're interested. So, how to start a band. It's our next topic, or the big topic of the day. What was your first band, Dave?
My first working band was Capacity Max.
There you go.
Believe it, a big band, 16-piece band, because around the time that I joined that band, what was the movies? The Commitments movie? That music was huge, and so bands were starting up that sort of big horn section, rhythm
soul
section.
stuff.
Soul stuff.
Yeah.
The other big one was Soul Commitments. I think we're doing that around Adelaide.
Everybody loved them, but nobody knew who Wilson Pickett was.
No.
Just the guy who wrote all the tunes.
So that was my first working band.
Andy? The Aardvarks, wasn't it?
No. Look, I actually, I started getting paid to do gigs at 12. I was a drummer, and I was in a long line of all manner of different little bands. My mum and dad used to drop me off to gigs and pick me up. When I was 12, I looked 16, 17. I just, always been a big strapping lad. And here I am at like 12 and 13 years old playing in, if the publicans knew, I'm playing in pubs and stuff. This is 12-year-old kid playing drums at the back.
That happens a lot, actually. Young guys underage.
George Harrison.
In
Hamburg.
But as far as forming my own band, I chose to be part of somebody else's for a little while to get my head around what I do and don't like, what not to do and what to do. So by the time I was ready to sort of put my own thing together, I had a series of ideas about the style of player I wanted. And I also was a little bit, I think, clever from the point of view of, instead of putting an ad in the paper, guitarist wanted, and getting inundated with calls, and everybody will tell you how wonderful they are on the telephone. Oh, yeah, man, I've played with everybody. That I used to go and watch bands play, and I'd go, I like that guy, and I'd somehow find out his name, and so I started formulating a list. So by the time I was ready, I actually made calls and said, are you interested? As opposed to,
sitting through hours of auditions.
Yeah.
You'd already heard them. You knew what they could do. You heard the sound. Yeah, it's a good way of doing it.
Go and check all the players that are out there. And obviously you need to have a rapport with them as well. You need to have perhaps other things in common, like your time in jail together. Things like
Beautiful.
That. Yeah, that's obviously how you got started.
Totally. Yeah, same parole officer. And there was a bond there, It was beautiful.
Yeah. So obviously, and the style that you're looking for, finding, things that turns your crank with everyone in the same band, that can be very difficult.
Oh, it's tricky. I had that issue changing drummers. The first band I started which was mine. Me and Tom Mann used to jam together it kind of started very loosely, and I had a lot of material written, and I knew what sort of player I wanted. And because I'd studied with him and played with him before, I knew like you'd heard the guy and you asked him to do, and they got together. Then I got in a bass player who I liked. So it was kind of. But in terms of when Tom left town, I had trouble getting a drummer to fill that void because drummers are pretty seriously important to the way things feel in a band. I don't know about you guys, but it's almost critical. You can hide everything else but a good drummer.
It's very much the engine room to any.
And there are so many drummers and so little time.
I went through a couple who still played great drums but didn't quite feel right.
Love you, Andrew. Brad.
So yeah, it's tricky with replacing people, getting people to fill the space you think that you can hear in your head about how it feels, sounds.
You have to be in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
On many levels, I think, for a band to work in that sense, whether it be a cover band or an original band too. I mean, obviously, the original thing is much more exposed, because you're writing some songs and the other guys have got to dig it, and if they don't, that can really hurt the ego, even though it might be great songs.
Well, there's also the perspective of, okay, now I'll talk personally, as a singer or a vocalist, and I've made some conscious decisions back when I was younger. Do I want to do the singer-songwriter thing and, be true to myself, man, and write my own songs and find guys that, we believe in you, man, and get out there and earn no money but sing your own songs and have integrity? Or do I want to go the other way where I sing covers, be in a cover band and earn money from it? That's the path that I chose to do, thinking that down the track I'll introduce my own music as time ticks on. And because I wanted to make a living from music, I chose to play other people's music. So that meant, then looking around before I form my own band, of joining a band that's a busy working band. And then you've got to get over the nerves and you've got to start beating the audition process to be better than everybody else. And how do you do that? I get a lot of young singers asking me, how do I get started? What do I do? My suggestion is, go to as many auditions as you can. Audition with as many bands as you can. Because every time you audition, you're really nervous. You're going to get with 5 musicians you've never met before. They're all looking at you like this. They've given you 4 songs to learn. Learn them, show up, and have a red-hot go at it. And dare I say it, it doesn't matter if you don't get the gig. It's the fact that you've overcome, it's another box you can tick. You've gone up the ladder one more rung of getting confidence playing with other players. And the more auditions you go to, by the time you've racked up a few, you walk in going like, hey, you own the joint, you own the room. And these guys go, how confident is it? This guy rocks. You're not scared, you're not nervous. It's a great thing to do. Do as many auditions as you can.
Yeah. And
I'll try to stop waving my arms around.
Wave your arms as much as you like. That's great. So I think we've pretty much covered a lot of that. The covers and the originals thing, I think in both situations, whether you've got a cover band or you have an original band, the same sort of stuff applies to,
yes,
who you're going to use. Probably with the original thing, you need to even be a little bit more tailor-made as to who you're going to.
Yeah, you do. It's more personal to you. You want to get it exactly how you want.
Yeah.
Covers, I'm not sure it matters so much.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
To some people, if they really feel real personal about the song that they're playing, but when it's yours, it's like, do it my way. You do get attached to it.
That's very true. Yeah. So we're going to have another bit of a play, I reckon. A bit of a jazz standard. Is it a standard? Yes,
I guess it is.
Sort of left-wing standard, maybe, or one of those
left-wing
standard.
It's a communist tune.
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know if this was ever done. I mean, I'm presuming that Etta James was the person that put this song on the map.
And almost no one else wanted to touch it because it was so amazing. It's rarely done, I think.
There are many. I mean, there's since been different covers of it. Lou Rawls does a great version of this song. But what a great song at last.
Yeah.
Or at last.
I think we probably only need to run it through once too. It's a pretty long chorusy.
I'm looking forward to hearing you guys play along with it.
I'll just last time.
Play along with it. So you want a 12/8 sort of feel on this one?
What does that mean?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3.
At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over. And life is like a song. At last, the skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped in clover. The night I looked at you, I found a dream that I can speak to. A dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to press my cheek to. A thrill I've ever known. At last, you smiled, and then the spell was cast. And here we are in heaven. For you are mine at last.
Nice.
Nice, fellas. You guys should do this for a living.
Should do. Yeah.
I've got to get to the bakery in about half an hour. That's how we get now.
That's it. We're going to get to the factory. Ben, question time. Question time with Ben.
First question we have is from John, who asks, how much variety should we have in our instruments to start a band? We're a group of 3 guitarists. Can you call that a band?
Totally.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course you can.
Now, may I just say something? I'm not going to, fringe into you guys, encroach into your fringe into your crotch. Stay away from the crotch. The whole thing is wrong. This whole, what I'm trying to say is, 3 guitars as a band. If one or all of you sing, that's even better. But I guess, as a vocalist, and I've worked with a couple of players, it's really nice when they don't compete. And that's where you give each other space and you possibly, one does something and one does something else. And that's all I'll say. But from a vocalist point of view, it's like if you've got 2 guitarists or 3 guitarists and they're all competing with each other, that's maybe not a band.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer. A band is unity, like a team. As simple as that. So you need to be aware of what each other's doing. You need to listen to what each other's doing, and don't do the same thing as the guy next to you, pretty much, unless you've decided.
Complementary to each other.
Right.
That's play in and out of each other, leave space, listen to space. Don't play at times.
Less is more.
Right.
Less is more
That's
sometimes,
right.
isn't it? Yeah.
Chick Corea, one of the best things he said. Somebody asked him, the great piano player Chick Corea, what are the 2 tips you would give to young musicians? And he said, one is, if you've got nothing to say, don't say anything. Which is perfect, which could apply to life in many ways.
Yeah.
And the other one he said was, you're there to make the other people sound great.
Yeah.
And I think they're the 2 really great answers, and I always try to remember those. So
3 guitars is a band.
definitely 3 amigos.
It happened. If I can't think, these are the 3. Donald Byrd, and there were 3 jazz guitarists who played in the '60s quite a lot. One had a classical type of sound, another electric guitar sound, and one more of a steel string, and they just played in and around each other all the time. They did very well.
I mean, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, even those 4, that was pretty much a guitar band.
No, 4's not a band. So the 3 are...
4's an argument.
Yeah. 5? The Eagles pretty much started as a guitar band in many ways. So, yeah, definitely. But choose the instruments that are obviously going to give your music the best, for sure.
We have a question from Mike, who asks, how many bands have you all personally been in?
How long's a piece? I don't know.
Yeah.
Haven't kept count.
Collectively, it'd be hundreds, maybe. So, I mean, I've had bands that I've been in for 10 years and bands that I've been in for 10 minutes.
There's War and Peace, and then there's the Book of Bands.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot. But it's good.
We're probably all in, well, perhaps with the exception of Andy, who's more the performer that the musos work with. But Dave and I are probably in 6 or 7 at any one time, I would imagine.
I've got about 6 things on.
Yeah, and then Andy has so many different
acts.
Projects. So
are you in a band if you do a fill-in gig?
Well, that's right.
I mean, how do you count that?
Yeah,
because how many one-off gigs where someone asks you to fill in,
that's right.
and you've done it 3 or 4 times, or it's a MD gig where it's a reading gig. Is that a band? It is. On a night, it's a gig. It's a one-off show.
It's another band you've played with. Yeah, that's for sure.
So
yeah, tough question to answer. Hundreds. Yeah.
We have
327.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
We have a question from Andy, who asks, are you guys in a band? You guys sound great.
Yeah, the three of us
worked together.
We have worked together. Gary and I work on a regular basis together. This guy right here is a very, very talented musician, and not only is he a fine acoustic guitarist, he's a fantastic electric player, and he's an astonishing bass player. And so, you know, there's a choice of 3 things I can book the guy for right there. Dave, I've worked with on several occasions. I wish I could work with him more, but I don't like him, so it makes it really difficult. But
he said that in the car this morning.
But yes, we do play, you know, musicians come and go in and out of various projects that I put together, and sometimes I choose my players wisely. If I know I'm going to be pretty much doing a bunch of, you know, butt kick and rock and roll all night, I may not necessarily book Dave, not because he's not good at it, but I'd rather save Dave for the really cool kind of bluesy gig that I put together, and this is what I call in the master. And
different styles.
So, but yes, did I answer the question then?
Sort of, yeah.
Did I take over? Did you guys trying to get a word in there?
No, well, you're doing all right. Probably won't have you back.
And one last question from Sally, who asks, I'm new to the pro music scene and I'm trying to find work. Are there any tips you can provide?
Get out there, meet people, go and see bands, find out who's out there. Sooner or later, somebody will want you if you're good enough. As simple as that, I think.
I would say go to some open mic nights. A lot of the times they're really crappy, but every now and then you'll find one that's worth going back to. And you might have to go several times before you finally stop hearing the same 4 guys that get up and do Beatles songs all night or Rolling Stones songs. But it's, Sal, if you've got faith in whatever it is you do, if you're a singer or a player, get up. Be put on the spot with other people. Get up and do your thing. Insist on the song that you want to do, and let people hear you. Because the whole point of open mic nights is to meet other musicians and be part of a fraternity. And people will come up to you and go, "Hey, are you looking for a man? We love what you just did." Or, "Hi, I'm a singer. I'd love to get with you and let's do some stuff." Open mic nights are good. You have to go to a lot of them to finally get a good one sometimes. That's one suggestion, definitely.
Yeah.
Depending on where you live, there's a scene of places that you can go and play with this, that have the style of music you want to play. Depending on what that is, you need to visit those places often and find out how they book their venue and who books the venue and whether you're suitable for it, and et cetera, et cetera. There's lots of venues to go and see and lots of places to play. You could even sort of come up with your own. A lot of gigs have started because musicians find a space, decide, right, so music would go well here, you approach management, say, would you like something here, and that's how it sort of grows.
Yeah. You know, the gig guide, things like that.
Also, let's say you love jazz, Sally, and you find this great little place on a Wednesday night. You want to go there. You start going there. You dig the band. Say hi, get to know them, and man, ask them, can I get up and have a jam? Can I get up and have a blow? Do a song with them. If you're a singer, pick your favourite song that you nail at the best. Ask them to get up, get their confidence. You don't know who's in the room that night, and you don't know that they're looking for a singer. That's another great way. Guest sit in with bands is another great way to meet people and let them hear you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're pretty much done for the day, guys. It's
Excellent.
been fantastic having you both on. A real pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Two of my favourite musicians and two of my favourite people in the world. So how good is my job, huh?
I love you, man.
Fantastic. I want to say thanks to Sarah and Ben and Pat and everyone else who's had something to do with the show in the last 6 weeks. It's been great fun and can't wait to do it again in another, did I say six weeks? 15, yeah. Can't wait to do it again in another 6 weeks. Pretty much it'll be the 16th of October in Australia, the 15th of October in America. We're going to tweak some video stuff. We're going to tweak some audio stuff. So the show's going to be whiz-bang much better, even though it's been great in the first place. A whole stack of exciting new guests, which I'm looking forward to. I think this sort of scenario has worked great, having a bit of a jam session.
It's been wonderful.
Obviously, I think 3 is about as many as we can.
Well,
perhaps
you could have 4 if it wasn't me. I'm sort of two people,
yeah,
so
two
you know.
others.
I didn't want to say anything.
And don't forget, you can download the 12 free books if you become a member, which is a great offer, and that'll keep you busy. And as always, you can continue on the blog and our email. So I think that's about it. So I'm Gary from letplaymusic.com. We'll see you in about 6 weeks on the music space again, same time, same place. So we're going to finish with a little Promised Land, I think.
Yeah, just let's swing it.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Okay, you want to swing it?
I left my home in Norfolk, Virginia, California on my mind. I straddled out a Greyhound rolling into Raleigh and on across Carolina. Had some more trouble that turned into a struggle halfway across Alabama. Oh, the hound broke down and left us all stranded in downtown Birmingham. Take it away, Dave. Right away, I bought me a through train, a ticket right across Mississippi. Well, I was on at a midnight flyer and a Birmingham smoking in a New Orleans. Somebody help me get out of Louisiana, just help me get to Houston town. There are people who beg who care to leave the valley and they won't let the poor boy down. Won't let the poor boy down. I said I won't let the poor boy down.